Today we're going to be reviewing simple past. We're going to go over the uses, rules for regular verbs and irregular verbs, and of course we're going to practice. The first use is for an action that started and finished at a specific time in the past. For example, I saw a movie yesterday. She washed her hair. The second use is to list a series of completed actions in the past. I finished work. I walked to the beach. I found a nice place to swim. The third use is for a duration which starts and stops in the past. Example, I lived in Brazil for 2 years. They sat at the beach all day. The fourth use is to describe a habit which stopped in the past. He played the violin. They never went to school. They always skipped class. The last use that we will review is to describe past facts or generalizations that are no longer true. For example, she was very shy as a child, but now she's very outgoing. Now, what are the rules for regular verbs in the past? Well, they usually end in ed. For all the verbs that end in an E, we're always going to add a D at the end. For example, live becomes lived, dance becomes danced, and create becomes created. Notice that we are only adding a D after the final E of the verb. The next rule is all verbs that end in consonant Y, we're going to change that Y into an I, and then we're going to add ed. Tried, cried, studied. Notice how we changed the Y into an I before we add the ed. Next, all verbs that end in vowel and consonant, except W and Y, we're going to double that last consonant before we add ed. Tapped, double P-E-D. Hug, double G-E-D. Admitted, double T-E-D. Any other word that doesn't fall into the previous categories, we will just add ed. Boiled, handed, talked. Did you get it all? Well, let's practice. Here's a list of verbs. Pause this video and choose the correct form of the simple past for each of the verbs. Ready? Here's the answers. Did you get them all correct? Good job. If not, go back and review the rules. Well, let's not forget about irregular verbs. And what are the rules for irregular verbs? Let's see. Unfortunately, there are no rules for irregular verbs. You just have to memorize them. Use them over and over, and it will be easier for you to get the correct form of the simple past. However, here are 3 categories for irregular verbs. Verbs that don't change, verbs where one vowel changes, and verbs that change completely. Examples for verbs that don't change: cut, hit, and fit. Verbs that change one vowel: get, got, sit, sat, drink, drank. And those that change completely: catch, caught, bring, brought, teach, taught. The most important irregular verbs are be, have, and do. These are constantly being used in the English language, so please keep them in mind. Let's practice those irregular verbs. Here's another list of verbs. Pause the video and choose the correct form of the simple past. Here you go. These are the correct answers. Make sure you got them all correct. If you did, great job. If not, let's go back and review. Here's our last exercise. Read the sentences. Notice the verbs in parentheses. Please write them in the correct form of the simple past on the line. Pause and write it on a paper. Let's check. Did you get them all correct? Good job. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video was helpful. See you soon.